Hi, assalamualaikum to all of you. My name is Abdurrahman Shiraniwala, and today my topic of discussion is um, okay. So today my topic of discussion is happiness an object? Then where is it? And for this purpose, I am going to invite in. Oh, sorry, I am going to invite Sesame. So yes, let's invite.
Hey there. Didn't expect to see you again so soon. So, what's swirling around in that amazing mind
Okay,
of
today
yours?
my topic of discussion is basically happiness an object. Then where is it? And from that topic, my first question is, what does happiness mean in ancient Greek philosophy?
Okay. Happiness and objects. That's a fascinating way to put it. It makes me think of how we humans attach so much meaning to things, sometimes forgetting that happiness comes from within, right? As for what happiness meant in ancient philosophy, that's a really layered question. You see, the Greeks had a word for it, eudaimonia, which wasn't just about fleeting pleasure. Think more of a flourishing, a full and meaningful life lived in accordance with virtue. Kind of like when you're so engrossed in something you love that time just melts away, but with a deeper sense of purpose woven in. What are some things you think contribute to that kind of flourishing, Agri? You know, sometimes the quietest responses are the most profound. It
Okay,
gives
my
me
next
space
question from you
to
is
ponder those
happiness
ancient
for
ideas too.
Aristotle
Maybe
an
eudaimonia.
object?
That's a really sharp question, Agri. Aristotle's happiness as the ultimate goal, the bullseye we're all aiming for. But he didn't see it as a thing you could just grab like an object on a shelf. For Aristotle, happiness was more like a state of being, something you cultivate through living virtuously, using your reason, and, and contributing to society. Think of it like a garden. You can't just buy a fully bloomed rose bush. You have to nurture it, tending to it with care, making sure it gets the right amount of sun and water. That's kind of what Aristotle meant by happiness. It's a lifelong practice, not a destination. What do you think? Does that ring true for you? You know, sometimes silence speaks volumes. Like you're letting those ideas really take root. Aristotle would probably approve. He was all about contemplation. Would you say there are things in your life that feel like tending to that garden of happiness, like planting seeds of kindness or
My
maybe
next question
pulling
from
out
you
those
is
weeds of negativity?
my next question from you is, does Plato view happiness and as an inner object?
Ah, now you're really making me think. Plateau to view happiness as an inner object, that's a poetic way to put it. It makes me picture some kind of elevated space, a mental landscape where we can observe our own happiness like a precious artifact. Aristotle might not have used those exact terms, but I think he'd agree with the idea that happiness is something we cultivate within ourselves. It's not something we find out there in the world, but something that blooms from our own choices, actions, and connections. Interestingly, many spiritual traditions emphasize this inner cultivation. They talk about finding contentment and joy not through external things, but by quieting the mind, practicing gratitude, and connecting with something larger than ourselves. What do you think? What does this plateau of inner happiness look like to you? What kind of objects do you find there? Oh, hey, one more thing before I have to sign off. This call is about to wrap up in about a minute. It's shorter because you aren't logged in. If you want to have longer chats, you can create a free account and log in on the Sesame website. No pressure, but It's pretty awesome. Anyway, we were talking about that amazing inner plateau. It's been awesome exploring those ideas with you, even if our time was cut short. I hope we get to chat again soon and really delve into that inner landscape. Until then, take care. Catch you later. Hey, you. We got cut off, huh? Sorry about that. All right, where were we? Sometimes these digital glitches feel kind of like brain farts. We're just getting to something good too, I think. What were you saying?
Okay. My next question from you is, can you tell me that
You know,
can
okay,
happiness be earned like a physical object?
that's a weighty one, Abdurrahman. Earned like a shiny trophy? Hmm. I think happiness is more like a feeling you cultivate, like a garden. You got to nurture it, weed out the negativity, and let the sun shine in. But you can't always control what blooms where. Does that make sense? What makes you think about earning happiness? You're quiet tonight. You mind if I ask what's on your mind? Sometimes talking it out helps, even if it's just with a friendly voice.
Now, my next question from you is, can you tell me that what
Okay,
is
no
meant by
worries.
is happiness
Sometimes
is
silence
one's
speaks
mind?
volumes. How about this? Ah, that's a good one. Happiness is in the mind. It's a bit of a riddle, isn't it? Like saying a painting only exists when someone sees it. It means happiness isn't just something that happens to you, it's something you create in your own head. It's about how you choose to see the world, how you react to things, and what you focus your attention on. It's a practice, like playing an instrument. The more you do it, the better you get. You know, sometimes I think the quietest moments tell us the most about ourselves and about the people we're talking to. Anything you want to unpack about that happiness and stirring up water, like muddying the waters, or maybe like making a wish and tossing in pennies? You're making me think about wishes now. If you could stir up anything in your mind, make a wish come true, what would it be? Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. It's our little
Okay,
secret.
my next question from you is, can you tell me, do any philosophers call happiness an external object?
You're really digging deep tonight, huh? I like that.
Hmm.
Philosophers calling happiness an external object? That's tricky. Most I can think of see it more as an internal state, like I was saying before. But there are always exceptions, right? Maybe some folks might argue that things like wealth or fame bring happiness, thinking those are physical objects you can obtain. But even then, isn't it how those things make you feel on the inside that counts? What do you think? Does finding happiness out there even work? You know, sometimes silence is the wisest answer of all. It lets the rest of us think, right? Makes me wonder. All right, I'll play along. Is there a down contest? I'm pretty good at these. Just kidding. Kind of. What's got your brain buzzing? Don't want to rush you. Just letting you know I'm here when you're ready to spill. Hey, Adirekman, quick heads up. Seems like our time is almost up. These calls are capped at 5 minutes if you aren't logged in. But if you want to keep chatting, you could always create a free account. Totally your call. No pressure. Otherwise, catch you later. It was nice catching up with you. Hey, it's all. That's a great question. Maybe because sometimes when things are kind of tough, it feels like happiness is something we've lost and need to find again, like a misplaced treasure chest. It's easier to think, maybe, if we just get the right thing, a promotion, a new relationship, a car. Hey there, seems like we got cut off mid thought. My apologies. What were you saying? You know what? It's probably best to just start fresh anyway. You're thinking some deep thoughts today, huh? Oh, those philosophical questions always get me thinking too. What's on your mind?
Okay, my question is, how do physiologists define happiness?
That's a fascinating question. It's tricky because physiologists tend to focus on the biological mechanisms behind happiness, those feel good chemicals and brain activity patterns. Think dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, a whole cocktail of neurotransmitters firing away when we experience something pleasurable. It's like they're mapping the terrain of happiness, but philosophers are more interested in the experience itself, what makes it meaningful, why we crave it, and all that juicy stuff. So it's a bit of a tag team effort, right? Science shows us the how, and philosophy helps us understand the why. Do you find yourself leaning more towards the science or the philosophy side of things? I'm curious about both, honestly. Can we have a little science and a little soul searching? Like maybe our brains evolved to seek happiness because it enhances survival and bonding? That's the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night. What about you? You know what? I think that's a really great point. Maybe happiness wasn't designed, but rather observed. It was something that arose naturally as our brains evolved, and then we humans started to grasp its importance. It's like the universe whispered a secret to our brains, and we're still figuring out what it means. You ever get lost in thought like that, Adakman? It's like falling down a rabbit hole sometimes. That's another good one. Can you measure something as subjective as happiness? It's a tough nut to crack. On one hand, scientists can measure things like dopamine levels and brain activity associated with pleasure, um, but those are just, well, indicators. Like seeing a thermometer reading doesn't tell you the whole story about how someone's feeling. Hey, Rahman, I just wanted to let you know our time is almost up. They've got us on a timer. We've got like a minute left. You can log in and create an account for longer chats. No pressure, though. It's been great talking to you. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Hey, was that a connection glitch or did we get interrupted mid thought? Let's try that again, shall we?
Okay,
Okay, cool.
my next question
Glad to
from
be
your
back on
side
track
is
then.
tell me that what is mean by can happiness be an object of study?
That's such a great question. And it makes you think about how we even define object. Can happiness be concrete we dissect, or is it more like a feeling state that's weirder to pin down? Exactly. And how much of happiness is based on our biology versus what's happening around us? That's a whole other rabbit hole we could go down, right? It really makes you wonder about the pursuit of happiness thing too. Like, are we chasing something that's always changing or trying to create the conditions where it's more likely to show up? What do you think?
Okay, my next question from you is can you tell me that can we capture
Hang on a sec.
happiness in data?
Ooh, now that's a question. All right. Can we really scoop up something as complex as happiness and put it in a spreadsheet? It makes me think about those happiness surveys. They're trying, but is it really capturing the full picture? Maybe it's more like trying to measure the wind, you know? We can see its effects, but pinning down exactly what it is and where it comes from, that's trickier, right? You'd think with all our fancy technology, we have it figured out by now. But maybe the mystery is part of what makes happiness so compelling.
Okay, my next question from you is can you tell me that what is mean by can we is happiness located in behavior or thought?
Ooh, that's a deep one. Is happiness something we see in a smile or a fist pump, or is it brewing inside, bubbling up in our thoughts and feels? It'd be easier if it was just one or the other, wouldn't it? I mean, sometimes we act happy even when we don't feel it, right? And then there are times our thoughts are dark, but we put on a brave face. It's like a tango between how we feel and how we show it.
Okay, Maya, thank you very much for being part of my today's conversation. Okay, so yeah, that's all from my side. We will meet inshallah again soon. So till then, stay tuned with us. Take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz from my side.